I'm Leo Spencer and I'm 18 years young. Hey there, it's your boy Fire Hazard here, and this video is going to be discussing Ray Tintori's 2007 experimental film, Death to the Tinman. Coincidence, Ray's last name is Tintori. I'll leave that up to the viewers. So in order to have a good black and white film, you need good lighting, or I should say like lighting is key. Death to the Tinman uses various lighting techniques perfectly and was able to use some effects that many movies in color probably couldn't get away with. I'm talking about the rays of light characters emit at times, but the background effects to feel natural and elevate the story without interrupting the flow of the movie, and it's not an overused effect. It's really only used in a few important, pivotal points in the film. These times include Bill and Jane's kiss, and Bill and Jane holding hands, the flight that turns Bill into the full Tin Man, and Paul after declaring himself the reincarnation of John the Baptist. Also a really cool shot of Paul after becoming the mayor. Appears to have a halo of light behind his head. Shot 2, and he's standing in front of upside down American flag. The halo kind of alludes to him becoming drunk with power later on. Also, the camera's looking up at him symbolizes power over somebody you should figuratively look up to, also literally looking up to. And this is one of my favorite examples of the camera angle. I gotta say, for filming in black and white, the snow was a great idea. You know, limited a lot of the clutter on the ground in the forest. And snow, of course, as we all know, is God's punishment for homeless people. Another example of a more jarring camera angle is extreme close-ups you get of the preacher and Bill's faces. It's a bit unsettling, but that's the mood they're trying to go for in the scene. I think the extreme close-up of Bill and the way the characters are talking in the scene don't really drive home the message that this is an experimental film. Like, the characters don't really do a whole lot of shouting or express a ton of emotion throughout the film, which is kind of odd. Like when Bill is yelling and Jane is up in the treehouse, Jane doesn't respond by yelling back. She just barely raises her voice.
You don't know that.
Really, the only time characters raise their voice is like when the preacher's yelling and he's like blessing Bill. I'm not sure if the lack of emotions was intentional, but it probably was with the director. But regardless, it was really interesting watching a film like this. Good acting, but just barely conveying emotion. The sound always seemed a bit weird, probably because like the actors didn't raise their voices that often, and there wasn't a whole lot of background emotion, environmental sounds, like birds in the forest or any kind of jazz like that. Something I noticed when the movie was opening was the old-timey effect with the spots and lines going across the screen, like you expect to see when watching old movies. It worked well in this film, especially in the beginning. After the opening, that effect wasn't really used again. I mean, there would be occasional spots like here and there, but nothing like severity at the beginning. You see it a bit more intensity in the preacher scene, and when Paul, Bill, Jane too, they hear about the fire through the radio. The effect wasn't really distracting, but like it did enhance the mood it needed to. And the editing in the film was phenomenal. The cutting and action was really stunning. Instead of just showing Bill lost his arm, you jump cut to a still image of him staring in disbelief at his arm laying on the ground. The next shot afterwards is him testing his new arm. And Bill, as the Tin Man, he breaks the window. The music starts like right on action. Then we cut to him and a pack of Alcoholics Anonymous just running through the streets. The editor knew exactly when to transition into the next shot. I think my favorite example of this though was like when the Tin Man's talking to the firefighters in the woods, and out of nowhere, like one just tackles him, and then it cuts to a long shot. Fireman just hacking up like the Tin Man's body. It was shocking, and I really didn't think anyone was expecting it. Like, it didn't even make sense. I mean, the firefighters were like just in front of him, and one just came from like Bill's right and just like tackled him. There are a few accounts of discontinuity in there, like when the AA member woke up Bill and Jane from the sleeping. And then it cuts to two AA members like, hey, like yeah, they're hanging him. Look at that, but it looks like they're in a factory, and then next time you see Bill and Jane, it looks like they're in the factory too, so it's already weird. Like, so were they sleeping in the factory? I don't get it. And it looks like they can actually see Meat Puppet being hung when obviously they can't. I also like how Meat Puppet's eyes were like paper instead of painted on. Maybe so that makes me think that maybe some parts were edited out later on. They didn't like readdress and fix the plot holes. And also, close up of the rope foreshadows Bill cutting it down, saying saving Meat Puppet. This vlog is going on way too long. You don't know how many times I have to reshoot and talk as fast as I can. I think I hit enough points. It's a really great film. I'd recommend to a lot of people. And since all vlogs need some kind of fun little outro, I better think of one because it'd be pretty stupid if I just like cut it off right when I'm still talking.